All right, guys, we're back on Southeastern 16 with Brian Edwards. We're previewing the Florida versus USF game on Saturday. That's 4:15 p.m. Eastern, and as always, we'll get into all the action, and we'll start with our friends over at FanDuel, our new title sponsor here at Southeastern 16. We keep telling you, get in on all the action over there. Same game parlays. You got all the team bets, just all kinds of props over there you can have some fun with. And remember, have fun, bet responsibly. Brian, what are we seeing right now over at FanDuel? I think the number last I saw, 17.5 in favor of the Gators.
This is true. It is 17.5, and the total is 53.5. The money line payout for the Bulls, if you're thinking upset, plus 540. They also have some alternate lines. If you wanted better odds on USF and not catch as many points, you can go plus 10.5. For plus 162, you go plus 7.5, plus 210, plus 3.5, plus 340. Flip side, you want to lay more points, better odds on the Gators. You can go minus 24.5, plus 196, minus 27.5, plus 255. You want to bet on the Gators the first quarter, they're minus 4.5, and that's an even money bet. In the first half, the Gators are minus 9.5 at a minus 118 price. The Gators team total is 35.5, shaded to the under, minus 128, minus 104 for the over. USF's team total is 17.5.
Well, where to start here? I mean, for Florida, again, maybe not a lot to take away from the Long Island game. They win it 55-0, as we know, held them to 2 first downs in that game. And again, it is what it is. It's kind of what we expected to see from them. DJ Lagway was 15 of 18. 120 yards, 3 touchdowns. Didn't really need a lot out of him beyond knowing how the game would play out. But you and I were talking about USF before we started recording, and what a sort of wild start they had to the season.
Right.
They just completely dominate 34-7 in a win over Boise State, who was ranked number 25 heading into that game last week. And as we said, we were trying to figure out, like, statistically, the numbers, quite a few things that were in Boise State's favor, which is not something you usually see in a 34-7 type game where that team has lost the game. But it really was sort of the mistakes and the turnovers for Boise State that sort of cost them in that game. And of course, USF, the Bulls, had something to do with that and earning just a huge win, first win over a ranked team since 2016.
Yeah, great. I mean, I don't think too many people were stunned that USF won, but to win in that fashion was very impressive. Now, do you give USF credit for creating the turnovers? Yeah, I mean, you got to, but man, Boise did kick themselves in the foot. Now, USF ended up +3 in turnover margin and obviously took care of the ball. And they got their quarterback, Byrum Brown. He's back healthy. He had a 23-yard touchdown run, 15-yard touchdown run. Very efficient, 16 of 24, throwing the ball, 210 yards. But Boise, they had a 41-yard drive to start the game. They fumble in USF territory. Then they have a 61-yard drive, and they fumble in the red zone. And then later, they had a 12-play, 52-yard drive, and they get stopped on 4th and 2 at the USF 23. They had another drive where actually they were still in their own territory, at their own 43. They go for it on 4th down. They don't get it. Their next drive, 10 plays, 50 yards, and a fumble in the red zone. And then finally, a 32-yard drive, and they run out of downs on 4th and 3 in USF territory. So, but timely defense for USF. Got to give them credit. And Kayshawn Singleton, who's going to be their main WR1, if you will, 5 catches, 93 yards, 1 touchdown. And they got a transfer from Tennessee, and Chaz Nimrod, 3 catches, 96 yards. So outstanding opener for the Bulls.
Yeah, and I think that's where, for a lot of people, maybe Florida fans included, are trying to figure out, okay, what opinion do we form on USF coming out of that game? Because like you said, it was maybe in part, okay, Boise State made some mistakes, but also, like we talked about, you have to give USF some credit for that, and they just went out and took care of their business in an opener like that. And like we said, sort of the historical background of winning against a ranked team and what that means for that program. And I think you can look on paper and, going into the season, you could sort of look at the expectations for this USF team, certainly have the talent to compete. I think they had, eight returning starters on defense.
Yep.
Don't seem to have a lot of weaknesses on paper when you sort of just look at this team. And you mentioned Byrum Brown. I mean, he is someone that, just from a dual threat standpoint, like, he is a guy that can beat you in multiple ways. And they've got, it's an experienced team. Of course, anytime you got a Grammatica kicking for you, you got to take notice. Martine's son there, Nico Grammatica, entering his sophomore season. And so, yeah, like, I think it's sort of an intriguing matchup here just based off of the momentum that USF has built. But I think this is one of those two where you're looking at it from Florida's perspective. Obviously, we know what we're getting with DJ Lagway and all that, but I feel like it is a line of scrimmage type game that we talk about in these sort of matchups sometimes, where it's just when you look at what Florida has on both sides of the ball up front, I feel like that is where it sort of starts here if they're going to control a game like this and, like we mentioned earlier, 17.5, win this game perhaps comfortably.
Yeah, Florida has the advantage talent-wise, but USF is definitely a program on the rise. And let's remember, Brown only played 5 games last year, and he was a guy that I heard a lot on the radio last summer about. NFL scouts are high on him, and we're going in the year, looking at him as a big-time prospect. Obviously, he had the injury and cut all that short. But you just look at Phil Steele's national unit rankings on USF, and you see, for a group of 5, they don't have any major weaknesses. They're number 35 at the quarterback position. I mean, not many that are in the top 40, but 69 at wide receiver, 50 on the O-line, 60 D-line, 43 linebacker, 69 secondary, 49 special teams. So Alex Golesh has raised the talent level. I mean, they go to back-to-back bowl games and win them. And again, that was with their quarterback missing more than half the season last year. They get 21 transfers, 11 Power 4, and this is a big opportunity for them. So just some for the gamblers out there, some against the spread information and spots like this. So USF has been an underdog under Golesh. They have been an underdog 14 times. They're 8-6 against the spread, but they have 5 outright wins. They've been a double-digit dog 6 times. They're 3-3 against the spread. Now, on the other side, Florida has struggled as a home favorite under Billy Napier, and that's been his MO going back to Louisiana. He's very good as an underdog, not so good as a favorite. As a home favorite at Florida, Napier 3-8 against the spread and 3 outright losses overall at home, whether favorite, underdog, pick 'em, whatever. 15-7 straight up at home, 10-12 against the spread, and as a double-digit favorite anywhere, road, away, neutral. Florida 4-6 against the spread with 1 outright loss. These teams have met 3 times. 2010, Florida wins 38-14. 2021 at USF, Florida wins 42-20. And then 2022 in the Swamp, Florida wins 31-28. And that was I think that was Napier's second or third game, and USF had a tying field goal from around 45 to 50 yards to force overtime at the end, and they missed it. So USF gave Florida all it wanted and then some a couple years back.
All right, before we make our picks, I'm going to give you a quote here from Billy Napier, and this is from Graham Hall over at 24/7 Sports. I think there's some interesting quotes here in terms of Byrum Brown. Remember, Brown is 6'3", 231 is what he's listed at. So we're talking big physical type guy, and that's one of the things that Napier was talking about this week. But he also added this. He said, quote, "If you go back to the Hendon Hooker days at Tennessee, where the quarterback was a little bit more of a run threat, I think there's some similarities in that regard." So one of those interesting sort of comparisons there. But to go even further with what he said, it's the unannounced plays, in my opinion, and sort of the extra hat and the run game. You got some read elements to the offense in the run game, whether it's zone read or some type of gap perimeter combo. and then it's just the unannounced play. They're covered, and then he takes off. Those are always an issue, especially with the types of coverages that we play. It's going to be important. We're going to have to rush as a team and work together to compress the pocket because we are going to keep the guy in the pocket. So he wants to keep him in the pocket. That's the game plan here for the Gators heading into this one. And before, we make our picks, quick word for the people who support our channel here, Game Time Sidekicks, officially licensed stainless steel drinkware. All the SEC schools are there, plus over 350 more universities. If you're a USF fan, probably find some USF stuff over there. Everything from stainless steel sippy cups, tumblers, 40-ounce bottles, and shaker cups. SE16, 20% off if you want to use our code there, SE16, 20% off. ROKFORM, the world's strongest magnetic phone case, extreme protection, super strong magnets, rock lock secure mounting. You can find all that over there at rokform.com, ROKFORM.com, SEC25, SEC25 for 25% off over there. You can find all our promo codes too in the description. And our new sponsor here, Hovey Drive Goods, your new favorite hat. Look no further than Hovey hats for head quality or high quality headwear with a great fit and unique designs. We'll have this promo code coming for those guys soon as well. All right, Brian, our picks for the Gators and the Bulls.
All right, so two things going well for the Gators. I don't know that we don't have this officially yet as we record early in the week, but I'm expecting Dallas Wilson and Aiden Mizell to be upgraded. They sat out last week. You know, Dallas Wilson in early August, he was dominating at training camp, and he had a lower leg injury. I don't think they ever got specific on what exactly it was, but I'm pretty sure he's going to play this week, and I think he is going to be an absolute superstar. And Aiden Mizell, it's kind of been injury prone, but him and Lagway have got a pretty good chemistry. They had a long touchdown pass early in the Georgia game last year, and so I'm expecting those two guys to add a little more punch offensively. I lean Gators here. Now, I'm not saying it's going to be a blowout. I could see it, being a 1 to 2 possession game into the third quarter. I'm going to say the Gators are going to win a 38-17 type of game.
I like it. I'm going to pick Florida, too, as well in this one. I think the most fascinating thing to me, like I said earlier, is really just if you're USF, and they're just, again, a very interesting team now based on what they did against Boise State, and I think it's how do you keep that momentum going heading into a game like this. And look, I mean, they're very well coached. I mean, Alex Cullen's a very good coach, and I think it's going to be interesting to see what kind of game plan he comes up with. But yeah, that 17.5 number I think is kind of interesting heading into this one. But I think DJ Lagway makes the plays. I think, again, the game probably won up front for Florida, so that's the way I sort of see this heading into it. But as Brian said earlier, if you want to get on the action over there at FanDuel, lots of stuff, like we said, lots of wagers you can make over there with our friends at FanDuel. And again, that number currently, as we said, sitting at 17.5 for the Gators, over under at 53.5. We appreciate you guys watching. As always, hit that subscribe button, hit the like button. Of course, we'll have every other game previewed here in the SEC in week 2 coming up on the channel. So turn on those notifications so you know when those videos go up. And again, we'll be back with reaction this weekend to all the action as well. We appreciate you guys watching as always, and we'll talk to you soon here at Southeastern 16.